Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us, "Ashaddu balan anbiya." And the hardest testers are the anbiya thumma salihin, and then after that are the most pious. Yani in the status of their piety. So if you look at the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it's always filled with a lot of hardships, tests, trials. But that's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preparing that great Jannah for us. This dunya is not forever. This dunya is not meant for you to wild out and do whatever you want. This dunya is a test. It is the building ground, right? So when you go through those hardships for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you're patient, and by patient I mean you persevere through it, not that you just cuss and get upset and give up and kick doors and then you're like, I'm patient. Well, no, you just got no other option after that, right? But when you're patient, when you have sabr for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise your ranks in Jannah. So with da'wah, you will face many types of hardships. And when we look at the da'wah of the anbiya, we will face similar hardships. Not as much as them, but similar. So when they start calling towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people would first try to drown their voice out. They would try to argue, debate. And when that didn't work, then it would be throw them in the fire. Or assassination with the Prophet ﷺ when they gather around his house. So we're going to face this. And we're going to face it at different levels depending on our religiousness. The more Allah you're closer to Allah, the harder you'll be tested. But don't let that be a deterrence, because that test will raise your ranks in Jannah. In dunya you will get tested, you will have hardships, people will be hating on you. But then you know what you're doing is right. One of the earlier Salaf, he was asked about a person. When he asked them, they said about him that nobody dislikes him, everybody loves him. Nobody's ever spoken ill about him. He said, then that is somebody who has never spoken the truth. When you speak the haqq, when you're unapologetic with your da'wah, then you're going to get haters. You're going to get people who are going to try to use violence against you. People are going to try to use the law against you. But if you have istiqamah, if you are steadfast on sticking to your principles, as in our time, sticking to the Quran and Sunnah, sticking to the way of the Salaf, if you do not deviate, then Allah will grow your da'wah. Allah will raise your ranks. And Allah will put that ajr for you in the akhirah. So whatever hardships you face, whether it's from your own family, whether it's from your community, whether it's getting a label put on you, whether it's from the groups that will come out and try to stop your da'wah, we have to continue what we're doing because we are doing it for the sake of Allah.